If you have questions, concerns, and are just lost when it comes to planning for retirement, meet Steve Hoyle and Derek Caldwell of the Hoyle Financial Group. The Fed is due to meet here shortly regarding interest rates, and a lot of us wondering which way we're going to go here. Here is Mass Mutual's Kelly Kowalski on CNBC.
Higher interest rates for us mean higher earnings, higher reinvestment rates. One trend that we see with the higher interest rates is a lot of annuity sales, and we've just seen, really steady demand for annuities because people seek the relative certainty of return and safety.
Okay, so Steve, let's break this down to a few things here. As high as interest rates are and as doom as gloom as we can be about them, what Kelly's talking about here is there's ways that we can capitalize on those high interest rates with buying something like an annuity with guaranteed income, right?
Absolutely. A lot of people come to us and they're realistic, saying that interest rates a year from now are going to be much lower. And so I need to capitalize on how can I lock in these kind of rates. And we do a lot of multi-year guaranteed annuities. We call them MYGAs. And we have some great rates. I have people buying them for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, even some people going out 10 years because they want to protect that. What they want is guaranteed income. One of the things about a MYGA that's really great that you can't get through a bank is you have tax-deferred growth, which means so as you can continue to let that money roll up every year and not pay the taxes and pay them at one time. Whereas on a certificate of deposit, or a lot of my clients called them for years, certificates of depletion before the rates came up, you get a 1099 every year. Whether you take that money out or not, you've got to continue paying the taxes on it. Yes, I think taxes are low right now, but when you can pay that one time and not every year, you can really use kind of your own money and be a lot ahead. So a lot of people really like to be able to use that planning. Plus, we see rates quite a bit higher than what I think you can get at your local bank. So I think that's important. But the other thing about annuities is, insurance companies have a lot more room with higher rates right now as they buy, guaranteed instruments to fund these. We think that the opportunity, the caps, the spreads, what I mean by that is there's more for the consumer today. As when interest rates come down, I don't think they'll be quite as lucrative. So, people are coming to us and buying guaranteed income to make sure if they have a spouse that neither one of them can run out of that income. Jess, we're seeing people letting them roll up a year or two and having, 5, 6, even 7% income guaranteed for both of the rest of their lives. That's huge, Jess. So I just think while the going's getting good, it's a great time to sit down with us. So as Derek Caldwell says, our Chief Operating Officer, why don't you call us and give me 2 hours or give your boss 2 more years? And I think that's what really matters is let's get time on your side, have a plan, work that plan, and have a beautiful retirement. That's what it's about.
I read a recent article on Bankrate.com, Steve, that said if you are worried that the stock market is going to go down and take your retirement money with it, you need to do these 2 things. Number 1, avoid the craziness of all the latest stocks, headlines, and trends, and embrace the boring because there's nothing wrong with getting 4 and maybe 5% returns on the boring side. What are your thoughts about this?
Well, Jess, I think that it's crazy. We have people come see us all the time in our office, and they, just had their money in their 401k. They haven't looked at it. And first of all, when we show them how much they're paying in fees, they're like, oh my gosh. And secondly, when we show them kind of, the Hoyle Wealth Plan and how when Derek sits down and really shows our clients the Hoyle Wealth Plan and how we can mitigate the risk and really have lots more upside potential. And they're like, wow, I thought I was making all this money and I'm not making this money. So it's different strokes for different folks. But when you're 59 and a half and you can take control of your money for most people, it really matters to take control of that money. Let's look at your 401k. Let's figure out, why don't you start planning for that retirement, planning for that future? But some people are happy with 4 and 5%. Some are not. But just realistically, people think they're making 4 or 5% when they're really making 2 or 3%. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Sometimes something can sound better or look better than what it actually is. You have to get in, as you like to say all the time, the devil's in the details.
Oh, it's 100% of the details. So, for people, Jess, it's interesting. Some people look at their closing values every day after 3 o'clock. They're so worried. Those are the people we can really help to give that added peace of mind for the future of retirement. Then we have people that haven't looked at their account in 3 months because they're scared to death. And then we have that group of people that come see us that say, I look at it, but I just don't understand anything. So whether you're one of those 3 categories, we can help you. But I think what's really important when you think about retirement is partnering with somebody that you trust. That's what we do at Hoyle Financial. We've been doing it for over 36 years, partnering with people. It's crazy, Jess. I started doing this when I was 25. I started our firm when I was 25. And you can look at my white hair on the sides here and realize I'm not 25 anymore. But seriously, partnering together to get you where you want to be in your retirement. That's what matters.
So at the end of the day, for somebody that's listening to the show, maybe they've heard us for weeks, months, years, you name it, they're thinking about coming in and sitting down with you or a member of the team. Paint the picture of what that first meeting is like. I mean, is it as scary as what we think it is?
Absolutely, it's not, Jess. It's not scary at all. We all have a different skill set. Somebody that's working on your elevator in your building has a different skill set than you do. Somebody that works on your car understands this technology that you don't understand. Well, what we understand is our formulas that we've used on retirees, for the retirees for the past 36 years. So it's not, you just come in and we want to know what you know so we don't rethink that, but it's really starting together and painting a picture. Back in the early days when my 30s, Jess, I used to go, have you ever heard of TG&Y?
I have not. No.
Well, it's a dime store. And I had these white pieces of poster board. People would come to see me about retirement. We'd talk about the numbers a little bit. Then I'd send them home with that poster board and tell them to cut out magazines and do a storyboard about what they want to do. Now there's all kinds of apps on the computer to do that. But that's what retirement is when you come to see us. Let's talk about what your hopes, what your dreams, what your fears, and what you really want in retirement. That's what it's about. It's really us getting to know you and you getting to know us and make sure we're a fit. Jess, I've worked with people, ever religious affiliation, ever political affiliation. I mean, all that doesn't matter. What matters is we put together something for you to be successful in retirement. It's really funny, Jess. A lot of people ask us, what do I need to wear to your office? Wear whatever you want to
what
wear.
Do I need
it's
to
crazy.
Wear?
I don't care what
Wow.
you wear. And what do I need to bring? We're going to send you a list, but we can do it in the order you want to. But I'm going to tell you, if you'll just bring some basics with you, we can get started. Or if you just want to talk and get to know us, let's get to know you, we can do that too. But what I'm going to tell you is most people want to use the time as the most productive they can. And, I love to say that retirement is 25% about the numbers and 75% about the emotions. We're going to figure out what you, and if you have a spouse, they want to do in retirement. So those are congruent. It's important. I love talking about retirement, Jess. It's holidays are hard for me because I lose a lot of clients during the holidays. It's just human nature, and I look back on the people that we got started with. We have people that we have 3 generations now of their family. All of them are clients of ours, and those stories and, the difference that we made together, Jess, because what it really is a partnership. We're partnering to make sure you and your family have a wonderful retirement. It's interesting, in January, lots of people come in and say, I was talking to my family and da-da-da-da-da, and it really makes people think about, Jess, ask yourself, when you were sitting around the table with your family at Thanksgiving and Christmas, have you done what you needed to do to make sure they're safe for the rest of their lives as well? It's really a big question. It really is. When you look at your spouse, do y'all have a will? Have you done your estate planning? Do you have a medical and financial power of attorney? Do you have a tax strategy? Do you have an income strategy? If you don't, let's just get started. Rome wasn't built in a day, but it's really fun to build that. It's funny, human nature, Jess, I talk about this all the time, and Derek laughs. But people come in different cars, and they sit across from the conference room. As we start coming together about numbers and the comfortable and uncomfortable things, they walk out and they hold hands. I see it often. They'll sit out in the parking lot and lean up against one of the cars and talk for 20 minutes. But what talking about that money thing that's uncomfortable is, it creates positive communication. And you know what? In retirement, that's what it's all about.
If you post on YouTube, Instagram, or even TikTok to give advice, they call you an influencer. And if you give financial advice, there's a new term for you. It's called finfluencer. And Yahoo Finance points out that this advice is not only bad, it's just plain wrong, right? So when a new client comes in, Steve, with maybe some strong opinions, maybe they've seen or heard something on one of these sites and they say, no, this has to be right. When a new client comes in with strong opinions, Steve, where do you see that mostly coming from? Is it family members, friends, social media? And bottom line, how do you protect them from themselves?
People come to see us and they start talking about their finfluencer like he's their brother-in-law. You know what I mean? It's funny, Now, I always have people come see me that tell me that their sister-in-law, their brother-in-law, they made all this money. And, a couple of years ago, we had one of those clients come in, bring me their statements. They came in, Jess, they talked about all the highs, but they kind of forgot the story about the lows. It's really important to know who these influencers are, where they've been, what their education is, and what do they have to gain from you. I think those things always really matter. But I think sometimes finding someone local, finding someone in your backyard that you're going to have to see at Burger King or Whataburger or out at dinner, people that are aligned with you. It's very important. But most of all, you don't need to worry about the finfluencers. You don't need to worry about Wall Street or Pennsylvania Avenue. But I'm telling you, you need to have a plan and you need to worry about what happens on your street in your retirement. If you don't have that plan, let's sit down and partner today and start talking about it right now.
These days, anyone with a microphone and a cell phone can be some sort of, quote, influencer. You got somebody telling you about what to do with your income, your money, your stocks, your investments. That is also what's known as a finfluencer. You want to work with a professional, somebody that is educated, somebody that has the specific licenses that you need to make some of these decisions. And Steve, that's why you've been in business. You've been doing this for over 30 years. You and Derek and the team there at Hoyle Financial, you guys are of sound mind. You are on top of the education process when it comes to this. So don't just keep scrolling on all these different social media sites and start making decisions. First of all, talk to a real person that can weigh your options because everybody's situation is different. Again, if you'd like to come in for a simple portfolio review or just a conversation with Steve and the team to see how they can help you, give a call today, 806-450-0799. Again, that phone number, 432-287-1946. That website, retiretexasstyle.com. Comedian and actress Leanne Morgan's new sitcom recently debuted on Netflix. It's called Leanne, and in real life, she's been married to her husband for more than 30 years. She was recently on Stephen Colbert's show, The Late Show, and he asked her what the secret is to a long marriage.
And I tell people all the time, I go, we go to bed mad. They always say don't do that.
Don't go to bed angry, yeah.
Yeah, we go to bed mad because we're tired and we don't feel like resolving conflict. We've been having the same fight for 30-something years.
About what?
I'm messy. Yes, he's type A, anal retentive, everything's in its place, and I'm fun,
I feel like everybody listening right now, if you're in a relationship, if you're married, there's always one versus the other. Somebody's really put together. The other one's a little messy and fun.
Well, Jess, we've been talking about it for years on the radio. Opposites attract, okay?
That's right.
One of them's anal retentive. One of them's listen to all the finfluencers. They know everything about money. And the other one is worried to death. They're not going to have enough money. They're going to run out of money. And you know what? Don't worry about it. We'll talk about that tomorrow. And you know what? They never talk about it. She is so right. People come into our office for the first time. If the conference room was like two goalposts in a stadium, they'd each be sitting on a goalpost, okay? I mean, money is the biggest thing. I mean, it's the big. So as they start talking about money and kind of checking those lists, those checks off the list, they get closer together. Jess, I'm telling you, money is such a big thing, but it doesn't have to be. So, Jess, it's interesting. She loves to talk about a marriage lasting 30 years. Well, what's important is that you have a retirement plan that lasts at least 30 years. Most people today, Jess, will be in retirement longer than when they worked. So you've got to make that money last. So when we think about that, it's having a strong income strategy. It's having a really strong, well thought out tax strategy. It's a strong estate planning. Who are you going to leave your money to that you have left behind? If all of a sudden you can't make decisions, who's your medical power of attorney? Who's your financial power of attorney? Have you mitigated the risk? Have you thought about all of a sudden the 2008 could wipe out the retirement future? All of those things matter. So when you sit down with a professional like us at Hoyle Financial, we're going to talk about all those things. And as we talk about them, we're going to really help that marriage. We're going to help that retirement strategy. I think that's what it's about. So, people come to see us all the time, and as they work that out, it's beautiful what happens. It really is. So if you're serious about retirement, if you're serious about a well thought out strategy, a written plan, here at Hoyle Financial, we're your guys. Call us. Let's just get to know one another. I think retirement so much is 25% about the numbers and 75% about the emotions. That's exactly what she's saying.
If you'd like to sit down with Steve and Derek or a member of the Hoyle Financial Group, visit retiretexasstyle.com.
Investment advice offered through Hoyle Wealth Management, a Texas-registered investment advisor able to provide investment advice in states where it's registered, exempt, or excluded from registration. Content contained herein should not be construed as an offer or solicitation for investment advice or for the purchase or sale of any security, insurance, or other investment product. Investments involve the risk of loss, including possible loss of principal. Please consult with a qualified financial, tax, accounting, or legal professional before implementing any ideas or strategies discussed here. Content provided is obtained from sources believed to be reliable but cannot be guaranteed as to its accuracy or completeness. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities offered through Steve Hoyle, Texas Insurance License 716036. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Steve Hoyle is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Steve Hoyle is licensed in your state, please call 806-371-9473.